Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching. And I just left two specific situations that are really interesting because I'm in the midst of writing an article, How Conversations Affect Learning. So I was at a restaurant picking up some food for lunch, and I was watching two employees, and they were talking and they were complaining. And the manager, I think the store owner, came up and started to talk to them. And she had kind of a stern voice, and she did it within earshot of customers, and she walked away. And both people started to roll their eyes. Both people started to whisper in front of customers and in front of coworkers. And it was really interesting. So I didn't think much about it because I'm writing this article, but it wasn't really resonating with me just yet. And then something interesting came up. She came back to the front of the store and said, "Don't forget we have training first thing tomorrow morning." Pleasant voice, very positive. And both people again rolled their eyes. So here's a owner, manager, whatever her title was, coming up within earshot of customers, created an uncomfortable situation. Doesn't mean she was wrong, but she addressed a situation. Number two, I come back to an office building and I'm meeting with a friend and we're going over some notes, and I walk in and we're in an office setting and I see an employee walk up to the receptionist who had greeted me. And she was complaining about her boss. And the receptionist said, "Oh, I've heard the same thing from many other people." And I'm watching this. And then all of a sudden, someone came up and said, "Hey, everybody's got to be in the conference room. We're going to go through that video training." So here's two scenarios within 2 hours of people who are having conversations that were not overly positive. Now we have to ask ourselves, how attentive, how engaged, how applicable will that training and learning process really be? And so I'm not saying that the store owner, the manager, was wrong. I'm not saying the person coming up to the receptionist in what she was saying was wrong. What I will challenge is that we cannot excuse those conversations or dismiss those conversations as not being powerful enough to alter the learning process. Think about it. Every time I do public speaking, I ask people, what happens in the corporate world when somebody gets called into the office and somebody says, "So-and-so, I need to see you in my office right away"? What's the employee's first thought? It's usually what? Uh-oh, what did I do wrong? But here's the funny thing. When that occurs and then there's training, is that person really thinking about the training? Or are they thinking about going into the boss's office or what the boss said in his or her office? Conversations have impacts on the way people feel. The way people feel and think have an impact on their ability to comprehend and learn. If we have positive conversations, and one of my favorite organizations, the Gallup organization, reports when we lead with the good stuff versus the constructive stuff, people engage 8 times more than when we lead with constructive feedback. See, if we invest in the good things, doors to the areas where people need to improve will open. But if those are the only doors leaders walk through, guess what happens? Learning and training take a hit. But then again, it's the very managers who don't invest in the good things say what at the end of the year? We need more training. So let's start investing in good things. Let's start having conversations that are positive. Let's not ignore the constructive things, but let's balance it out so people can receive them well. We have a philosophy here at Progress Coaching. If you invest in the good things, doors to the opportunities will open up. And if we can help people feel good about getting better, they will be more willing to participate.